We certify personal fitness trainers. In other words, and people, that confuses people. Well, what that means, obviously, is that we train the trainers. So we give them a credential. They study from my materials, and they take an examination. And once they've taken their examination, then they can take workshops or practicals if they don't feel comfortable with their level of fitness experience. Then they can do all, and then they have the option, like the practicals and the workshops and things, to take those as well. But anyway, the end result is they're taking a written examination that qualifies them at a minimum competence to be a personal fitness trainer. Started out as a child. Grew up on a farm. Went to the Marine Corps when I turned 18. Spent 4 years in the Marine Corps. Got shot in the arm. Then for rehab, they required me to perform some resistance exercises. Got hooked on weight training. The first thing I think is the passion that I have for bodybuilding. I think that if you don't have a passion for something, you're going to fail. Because anybody who's an entrepreneur, they need to be passionate about what they do. Now, what I'm saying is that if you don't have a passion for something, even if the passion you have for something is not what you want to build a business around, you still have to have the character and the personality and you have the built-in ability to be compassionate about something. And that's what the key is for me, for my success, was the fact that what I was passionate about actually could make me money. Just getting up every time you get knocked down. But generally that happens in the beginning of every business, but that gets back to your passion. That gets back to the point that if you're compassionate about something, you're passionate about what you want to do, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, you have to get back up. I just raised my hand and said, what's it take to start one of these certification programs? And two PhDs in the room, both of them just looked at each other and just shrugged their shoulders. And I was out there. I said, I'll see you. I was one of the first organizations that went out there and saying that resistance training is beneficial for everyone. And I said, well, wait a minute. You know, the best personal trainer should be bodybuilder, because everybody looks at them and says, I want to ask that guy a question in the gym, because look at him, he's got to have the answer. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, let me find out if bodybuilders would be interested in getting certified to actually make money as personal trainers. Well, it was overwhelming when I started asking the questions and filling out, posting forms and making phone calls, finding out. And yes, it was incredible. I had more people ready to get certified before I started my program than you could ever imagine. What I love to do, I found out I could make money doing it, so why not? Through bodybuilding magazines, I would write articles. Physiologically based articles for bodybuilding magazines in exchange for advertising. Now, I did this starting all by myself, and then when my children were growing up, when they were old enough to stick a label on an envelope, they were in the business. We were profitable. I don't think we were ever in the red. I never made a business decision that put us in debt. I mean, everything I ever did was based on, if I'm spending money, will it make me money? In other words, you always have to look at it. Obviously, unlike the government, you have to make more money than you spend. I work whatever I want. I'll come in. I mean, clearly, while I mentioned earlier that I'm in a transition right now, personally, myself, because I've done what I think it's frustrating to me, but I've done what every other entrepreneur, in my mind anyway, I think wants to do. He wants to build a business that's successful and runs itself. And he can take himself away from it and do whatever he wants to do all day long and still be making just as much money as if he was sitting in his office. So I'm at that point. I'm at the point where I can come and go as I please. And my average day is I'll get up at 8 o'clock, whatever, have a cup of coffee, watch the news and for a while, and maybe read the paper and come to the office. I love old people. I love talking to old people because no matter what their backgrounds are, you get a tremendous amount of advice from them. So yeah, getting back, I know I'm sidetracked just a little bit, but yeah, the things that are hard in your business, trying to find the right resources to help you when you have hard times. Trying to understand, what do I do now that I have a crisis situation? Crisis management is so important. Problem-solving skills are so important. If you don't have problem-solving skills, you need to hire somebody who does. But you have to have problem-solving skills. There's an answer to every problem. I don't care. You just have to have the patience to dig around and find the answer. Don't ever make a quick judgment on anything. Don't ever make a fast decision. Sleep on it. That's great advice too for you. I don't think a true entrepreneur can ever sit back and just enjoy retirement. I think you've got to be active. You've got to be doing something.